What's going on, guys? Happy Tuesday. We're coming out of an inside day after today's session. Um, definitely not. It was definitely something predicted that could have been predicted. With yesterday's wide trading range. An inside day means you're trading inside the highs and the lows of the previous day's range. And typically, the following day after an inside day results in a pretty wicked move if either the high or the low breaks. You're supposed to get acceleration. Um, I like to think of an inside day as a spring. It builds up a lot of pressure. As you can see, we had a tight trading range today. I made two trades, actually timed the top and the bottom for the morning half of the session. What I like to call the morning half is before 12 p.m. Eastern. I'll get into that in a second, but we do have an inside day, so it's something to keep an eye on going into tomorrow. After hours, we are pulling back, testing the lows of the day, actually holding with some overnight orders going through on obviously low volume. But something to keep in mind. We'll have to see where this opens up tomorrow and what the futures do overnight. The SPY is traded 24/5 on TD Ameritrade, so you will see some sort of orders going through if a deal is reached between a buyer and a seller. With that being said, I traded the bounce on this level here at the 278.47 support, and I'll pull up yesterday's chart so you can see this was the middle range. It was a noted resistance, 1, 2, and then a support here on a pullback. So this was a noted area for me. I really wanted to. I wasn't really looking at this level in particular until the time came, but as you see on the 30-minute, 1, 2, 3, 4 times this line was touched on the 30-minute and held as an impactful level. So it's something you got to keep in mind. All these levels are either on from the 30-minute or from the daily chart. So I typically trade off those levels. I'll use my indicators and I'll go over how I found that level to be of some sort of use. As you can see here, as we approached 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red candles in a row, and we had an extremely oversold 5-minute MACD. Typically, I like buying bounces when it's like that, in oversold conditions, and we'll drop down to the 1-minute. We'll find out that level here. The MACD was posting higher lows on the 1-minute, and we had 1, 2 candles hold above this support level, and I decided to go long here. Quick entry. I think I sold out at around this level here. Obviously, I sold way too early as the stock later popped, but I always like taking my gains. I made about 10% on this trade. Very quick, predictable, off our level. It's one of those trades where you take and you have a very quick exit because you know that if this support breaks and a candle closes below this level, you can immediately exit the position. Whereas, your reward is obviously up until this next resistance area, which is something I covered into. I obviously left some on the table, but that I'm here to make money. That's how I look at it. It's always something I'm looking to improve on. I think people always have room for improvement in their trading skills, but that's just an example of a trade I took today. That was my first one after being very patient after that huge sell-off I was just watching. My next trade was at the yesterday's close. It's also resistance level at 279.43. It was a daily resistance, and I shorted it here after this big spike. I shorted it here. I'll go over the 1-minute. That gives a better explanation. The previous day's close is going to be a very important resistance level in any sense. If you were gapping below the previous day close, we're technically red. So that's a big barrier throughout intraday trading. So right here, I saw this candle pushed up. It failed to surpass. It touched it, and we started, pulling back. And as you can see, I always like to follow my MACD. The MACD was very overextended on the upside, and I covered into the EMAs here. Again, left a lot on the table, but that's all right because I came away today making 20% on my entire, position size. That's something that I always like to do and something that I do perform with consistency. That's my goal, is to make money consistently. It's not going for those home runs. It's going for consistency. Yes, you can trade and try and time tops and bottoms, but it's not going to work out in your favor over the long run. I find that my success comes greater when I take my quick trades, quick 20%, and I'm out. With that being said, this level actually ended up being a very key level for majority of the day. As you can see, it was pretty heavily impacted across the entire session, ultimately failing in the end by the close. So, what we can look for tomorrow is we have to wait to see where we're going to be opening. If we're opening below this low in today's session, be ready to test these lows in this level here. If we're gonna gap up in the middle of this range, we have to be patient and see which way we come out of the inside day. Are we gonna break the top? Are we gonna break the bottom? It's something we want to sit there and be patient for. But obviously, I always write the game plan out in the morning in chat. We're always ready for whichever way the market direction goes. Volatility has been nice lately, and the price has been working very well off of our support resistance lines. It's really been a clear trading map, right along with our indicators as well. So we'll have to see what tomorrow brings. Obviously, we wake up every single morning just with the same attitude. I can't stress that enough. So I'll see you guys in chat tomorrow. Hope you have a great night. I'll see you bright and early.